Yes, the controversies and debates and altercations around the question of the tax reform the tax reform bill, so-called. When you continue to lie to yourself and pretend about everything, this is the kind of outcome you get. Make a map of Nigeria and then place everybody, those who are proposing and those who are opposing. You will immediately find yourself right back to the issues driving the demand for restructuring. Now, instead of facing that issue squarely, and I must say more honestly, every time we look for one part of it, some will say, oh, piecemeal, gradualists. Those who refuse to reconstruct the unitary constitutional arrangements back to federal arrangements are the same ones that began to create Niger Delta Development Commission, this Northeast Development Commission, Northwest Development, and now Southeast Development Commission. And people with education are subjugating their sovereignty and their right to develop at their pace with their own resources. They are subjugating it to the illicit federal government, to the criminal enterprise we call Nigeria. Who tells you that it is that same Nigeria that is destroying everything that will come to develop the Southeast? And what is the Southeast? Look at the map, the dot in circle. You shut down the Eastern Economic Corridor. Is it not the same body of water that goes from La Papa of Lagos to Port Harcourt all the way to Calabar? Why will you shut down the economic infrastructure of the East? Then create all your states in the manner you have created them, and geopolitical zone in the manner you have created them, and now you are creating what do they call it? Development Commission. Why can't we get down from this stupid high horse and go to discuss the structure of the Federation of Nigeria, instead of saddling the federal government with the responsibility of developing? It's like building a house from the roof. Shame on all of those who are clapping, particularly in the Southeast. Anybody who does not see that is the entrenchment of the evil that was initiated in 1967 to take over your sovereignty and dictate your development. Where's the electricity? How did we lose the electricity of Oji River? Or has the coal finished off? We saw container loads of it being taken away to wherever. Only recently, it went viral on the internet. Where's the railway? Where's the road infrastructure? Where's the telecommunications? Go to the east and try to use your data. Nigeria deliberately, I'm speaking to this subject from the perspective of Eastern Nigeria. That Eastern Nigeria, you may want to call it the South-South or the Southeast, but that is your own nomenclature. The nomenclature of NASS that is dealing with the nationalities that have been cobbled into an unworkable union is different from your Southeast and your South-South. NASS will deal with NASS will discuss the Ijaw, NASS will discuss the Ogoni, NASS will discuss the Urobo, NASS will discuss the Anang, the Efik, the Igbo. And their boundaries, the delineations on ground are not in controversy or dispute. And so when you superimpose your Berlin Conference kind of a delineation that has now created 36 states and a geopolitical zone, it will then begin to make sense to you that it is Northeast Development Commission or South Economic Commission or Southeast Development Commission that will take the place of reworking Nigeria back to a federal union if we have to have a union. Because those who are not listening now, who are bringing piecemeal solutions, look at the kind of debate going on with this tax reform, so-called tax reform. You have oil and gas, you have other assets, then you have company taxes and VAT. You shut down the Eastern Economic Corridor. You trap those who should have been building the economy of that eastern side. You lock everything down, force them to come and be in Lagos and Abuja. And they headquarter all their businesses here. Then you begin to count the VAT and the company tax as accruing to where they are forced to be. They are forced to be in all the places they are now. Many will have loved to be in that part, in the eastern part. You block that eastern Nigeria in your desperation to undo the Igbo. You block that eastern Nigeria, air, land, and sea. It hasn't been lifted to this date. It doesn't matter all the pretenses. You shut down that corridor. And now you want to, on the one hand, retain what you have taken from them by your constitution. But you want 60% derivation from the one you have trapped in this other part. So that tax reform bill, for all of those demented fellows who are celebrating it in Eastern Nigeria, why would that 60% derivation not apply to the production of other economic assets that are being shared in Abuja? Why will it be the consumption tax of VAT and the services rendered by the companies that will now reckon as company tax? Or the charges from the port? Why are the ports of Port Harcourt and Calabar not functioning? Is it not the Nigeria that put ports and maritime on the exclusive list? And so nobody is excited by your stupid tax reform. Let us go holistic and solve this question of structure of this union, the structure of the defunct Federation of Nigeria. Because if we don't, and we go the piecemeal, every day we look for something to go and solve our own part. If we solve the part of VAT and Lagos retain 60%, when will the Niger Delta get to 60% of the one that is being taken from their part and shared in Abuja? So Akpabio may preside, thinking he knows what he's doing. But the owners of the sovereignty, it is clear that most of you, even the ones that claim to be lawyers amongst you, it is clear you don't understand the meaning of sovereignty. That's why we are discussing constitution and you are there, meandering between one bill or the other to go and alter one part or the other in a constitution that is a fraud, in a constitution that is a forgery. All of those things will collapse like a pack of cards because that foundation upon which you are building, the bulldozer, the caterpillar that will remove that foundation is already there, tearing at it. So all of whatever you try to put on it will only collapse when sufficient numbers of people wake up. NASS will not permit all this piecemeal approach to solving this problem because it only compounds the problem. You talk about security. Hey, state police. Why can't we take these 68 items on that exclusive list and look at them? Why can't we take that preamble and look at what has become of our union? Why can't we ask those we call Nigerians what they would prefer, since you put their signature on a document they never made and their lives have been ruined, their economic assets have been taken by virtue of that 68 items of exclusive list? The things they could do for themselves, like security, unless we come to where the security, our security is being organized by those who live in that insecurity. If my security is to be organized by the people who are determined to exterminate me, who have come in genocide against me, look at this map again, that dot in circle. We can pretend all we like that there's nothing wrong with locking down a people because you want to, you measure your progress by how much you impede a section of the country. Unfortunately for you, and that is how it has pleased God. It is that section you are impeding. The Igbo you are impeding are the only ones building in Kano, building in Maiduguri, building in Ilori, building in Ibadan, building in Lagos, building in Abuja, building in Port Harcourt. Which of the other nationalities are in any place building that Nigeria? And you think that the only way to get to the roof of heaven is to look at that Igbo in your dot in circle? Shame on the people from that part that are participating under the constitution that Murtala Muhammad imposed as victory charter from that war of 1967. From that dot in circle. Let Enyinna Baribe and all the other senators from that part, let them come to a public debate to tell us how Southeast Economic Commission is better than the reconstruction of the economic of the constitutional arrangements of Nigeria into a federation, so that we can take charge of our electricity, take charge of our other infrastructure, take charge of our security. Look at what is going on there. Oh, Biafra come, Simon Ekpa go, Nnamdi Kanu come. It takes being blind not to see that Nigeria wants that place in that state. Yes, the lunatics who are waving flags, who do not have a map, look at the kind of map they brought for their it was a scam from the first day. We told them, but they didn't want to end it. They wanted it so that they can hide under the umbrella of the madness of the ones who are talking Biafra, to go in there and continue their genocide. That's what's going on in the place. And then they turn around to say, instead of discussing the substantive issue, the constitution that took everything from everybody, they are tiptoeing around it. And today they say development commission. The next day they say tax reform. Why can't we find the courage to dress back, get into a transition while we can, and solve this problem? All those piecemeal patching of window and painting of ceiling will not save this sinking ship. The foundation upon which you are building is destroyed. The foundation upon which you are building will collapse like a pack of cards. The victims of that constitution will not stop until that constitution is taken down. And you may sit in Abuja painting. You have a body, you have a human being. Let us even go the way of the world in saying a lady. Abuja is like the head. You are buying the latest Brazilian hair, putting the latest eyelash, getting the most costly lipstick, and all of that, touching the skin to put it right. But that same body, the leg is waiting for amputation. The leg is in Port Harcourt. The leg is in Bayelsa, where you seize their economic assets and you are killing them in order to retain it. That same body, the kidney is malfunctioning in Benue. That same body, the hands are withering away. And so you sit in Abuja. You sit in Abuja pretending that Nigeria is working, whereas the body, the head is looking so beautiful, but the rest of the body is in decay. Let somebody tell us which aspect of Nigeria's developmental indices we can hold on to say if we are failing in this, we are doing well in that. Everything is the healthcare system is in utter emergency. All the doctors are gone. The nurses are going. The education system is in decay. look at your products and see how they fit in. Because everything is cheating. Quota system. You exclude your best from everything, and you think you are going to build an edifice that will be taller than the rest of the world. You waste your time. Look at the infrastructure. And then you are building an economy that is not connected with the human beings. You are throwing statistics, animal farm kind of statistics at us for how it is improving. You are declaring surplus. The other day it was 10 trillion. Last week they say 6 trillion in the last quarter. Surplus. So that development that does not take into account the human beings that will live in that beautiful, that wonderful economy that will emerge from these disastrous economic policies that have failed to everybody seeing. You are building 15 trillion naira road while people are dying in hunger. In the days ahead, NASS will be making policy pronouncements on whether we should continue in a development pattern that excludes the human beings, the populace. What part of your spending is going to bring food to them? They are dying from the policies that are wrong, and you carry on as if it doesn't matter. So who are you building those roads for? They are dying from the naira that you went sent into float instead of doing the production that will have to back up that naira. So NASS will be in the days ahead, as we rally the victims of unitary Nigeria to reject further reinforcement of that constitution by way of election, we will also be making a demand on their behalf. If they do their part, if the people of Nigeria do their part in rejecting that constitution in the manner NASS has prescribed, NASS will then be making a demand on their behalf that this development, economic development pattern that does not care about whether people feed or they don't, whether they find work, whether they're able to pay their bills, even to survive. You are spending trillions on things that may take 20 or 30 years to complete in a situation where you created an emergency in the present. And so those human beings who cannot find food, but who have to wait for you to award contract of 15 trillion to yourself to build the road to Shanghai, Devumai, and co. NASS will be questioning some of those things. But first things first, the people living in that misery must wake up from their slumber to join in rescuing themselves. The prison gate has been shattered. The prison gate is removed. That constitution is the prison gate. But those who have to escape from that prison, that's why we're talking about joint jailbreak. Those who have to escape from that prison that unitary Nigeria has become for them must wake up and join in saying that they cannot continue. If they say if they choose to go to election in 2027 under this 1999 constitution, then it can be safely concluded that they truly deserve to perish. But if they don't want to perish, they've gone to election 6 times over since after the one of 1999. They went in 2003, went in 2007, went again in 2011, 15, 19, and latest 23. Where has it taken everybody? Under that constitution, it has been a steady, a steep decline. But the ones who have been voting for, the ones who have been rallying you to come and vote PDP and APC, look at it has been a steady rise in their affluence. Doesn't that tell you something? And so NASS that had been detached from all of that stupidity will now be rousing those who are tormented into the things they must do to save themselves, and the stupid minority that seek power under that constitution, that offer us great leadership under that constitution, that promise us rule of law and production. Peter Obi in particular, who declared that that constitution is not the problem. Everywhere he turns up to advertise the animal farm statistics, we will challenge him to show the constitution under which he will be delivering that Eldorado to the people. And so, tax reform, economic development, there's a commission, development commission, all of those things are a waste of everybody's time. Let us accept that this constitution is not working. This unitary arrangement has brought Nigeria to become the shame of Africa, the shame of the black man. Let's accept that we cannot build on it to any meaningful success. Let's accept that we cannot continue to pretend we have a democracy under it by going to election every 4 years. Therefore, that we have to decommission by stopping the journey to the next election, like South Africa did in 1990 to get rid of apartheid constitution. Let us go and rework this union before it collapses on everybody's head. Because those who have been tormented in it are not going to fold their arms for the few that gather in for the renegades that gather in the refuge camp they call Abuja, painting the face and head of a body that is covered with life-threatening conditions all over. The leg is rotting, the belly is swollen, the hand is waiting to be cut. That's the Nigeria you have now. And people sitting in Abuja talking about how many new roads, how many new gadgets they have installed. You know, just living in a cocoon away from the reality of the Nigeria they are building on a foundation of falsehood. Let us find the sense to move away from these pretenses and go into the union reconstruction that must happen. If we are not doing it together, unilateral actions founded on self-determination will overtake everybody. No apologies. They don't need your permission to take their portion of the failed Lugadian experiment of 1914. You may choose to understand it, you may choose to argue with the signboard on the subject. We stop there.